Hello, welcome to Tejedoraknits. My name is Gladys. I am a knitter based out of Southern Nevada here in the United States, and welcome to my little knitting corner of the internet. So the year is rapidly coming to an end, and it is time to put up my knitting favorites of 2025, as well as like my goals recap. Did I reach my knitting goals that I had set for 2025? So this is a video I've been looking forward to making for quite some time. And thank you. I wanted to say thank you, first of all. This, my first video, I posted it back in February of this year, and it has been such an adventure, such a journey, learning to make this content, and I've enjoyed it so much. So whether you've been watching since my very first video that I posted, or if this is your first one that you have found of mine, thank you for all of your support, for your likes, for your comments, for your subscribes, just for your views, just for being here. I really much appreciate it, and I'm excited to see everything that 2026 will bring. So I'm actually filming this on Thanksgiving Day. I'm pre-recording it a little bit in advance, so I have my Thanksgiving themed outfit that I will take off right after this because I have to go cook my turkey. But this is my Audrey vest from Sari Nordland, heavily modified to have stripes and to have a different fit in the body. The yarn is from Witchfire Fibers. It is their tweed base. So this is as Thanksgiving-ish as I have. So two different sections to this video, my favorites and my goals. I think I'm going to start with my goals because it kind of segues into my favorites. Overall, I'd say 2025 was a huge year of growth for me in knitting. As I mentioned, it's my very first year as full calendar year as a knitter. So I learned so much, and I think I have just grown immensely as a knitter. So let's get into the goals that I had set for myself. Well, I think the first goal that I had set was to attempt to keep on going at this YouTube content video thing for a year. And I told myself if I don't like it at the end of the year, after a full year of making videos, then I'll give myself the choice to step back if it's not something that, is bringing me joy and that is being worth my time. And that goal I blew out of the park. I have loved this so much. There are over 2,000 people in this little community already, which is wild. So again, thank you. Thank you for being a part of this. So goal number one was a redundant success. My other goal was a lot of experimentation and variety. I wanted to kind of take this year to build up my skills, learn what I did like, what I didn't like. So I kind of specified that as designers and yarn. So I wanted to try as many new knitwear designers as I could and as many new yarn or yarn bases as I could. Again, all with the main goal of understanding what I like and what I don't like in my hand knits. So if we start with designers, I tried out 16 new knitwear designers this year. I will say I got a lot of knitting in this year. I probably won't be able to keep up this pace next year, also because I have other crafty goals. So we'll go into that in the 2026 goals video that will be up probably in January. But this year I got to try a lot of new designers. For a little bit of background, there were very few designers that I had tried previously. I had made one petite knit pattern, a Sari Nordland pattern, a sock from Summerly Knits. Maybe there was one or two more, but I had only ever tried patterns from the bigger designers. So I just want to go over all the new designers that I tried out. I tried out patterns from Alicia Plummer, from Pernille Larsen Knitting for Olive, from Nashwa Socker from Nash Knits. I tried a pattern from Martine Jacobson. I tried one from Leslie Forrester Knit California. I tried a pattern from Florence, I think maybe more than one. Well, I tried a pattern from Florence Miller. I tried a pattern from Audrey Borrego, from Gregoria Fibers, from Laura Penrose, from Rebecca Clow, from Lily Kate France, from Yamagara, from Kadri, from Teti Lutsak, from Vertknit, and I think those are the one, Ozetta, I tried one from Ozetta. Those are the ones that I have already cast on. Hopefully, since I still have December to go, I might be able to get to a couple more, but we'll call that, you know, all the new designers. So that I think was a success. So in my favorites, I will mention what my favorite designers were, and I'll go a little bit in more depth at that point. And then from yarn, I think that was a smashing success too. I tried out 26 new yarn bases, both from commercial brands as well as new bases from indie dyed yarn. I love a good indie dyed yarn. And some of the ones that I tried new bases from Witchfire Fibers, which is definitely one of my go-to favorites. I tried new yarns from Pearl Soho. I tried yarns from Ula and Leah, which love 10 out of 10 for those yarns. I tried some yarns from Lana Grossa. I tried yarn from Prado de Lana, which wonderful, wonderful company. I also tried out a lot of Knitting for Olive yarns, you know, a good classic. You gotta love Knitting for Olive. Explore Knits and Fibers. I also explored more bases from them. I tried out Drops, the ultra popular Drops yarn. I got to try those out as well. Ruby and Roses is another brand that I tried more bases from. Barocco and Katia are two commercial brands that I worked with this year. I also tried out BC Garn, and then the last one would be Retroseria. Now, I'm not going to go into exactly every base and every color because I feel like that would be a bit of an overload, but did I meet my goals in 2025? Absolutely, yes, I did. I experimented and tried out as much as I could, and I feel like I have a much better understanding of what I like and what I want to do moving forward into 2026. So a nice little recap on my goals. I am so excited. I'm thinking of my goals for 2026, and I'm feeling really happy with them. And let's go into my favorites of the year. For my favorites, again, a couple different categories. Yarn, like specifically the yarn itself, the yarns that I love to work with the most, wear the most. Designers, my favorite designers. Projects, like the overall, my top 3 projects that I, you know, overall package, good experience making, good fit. I wear a lot. I just feel very proud of those projects. And then tools. There are a few little tools. Of course, they might not be absolute necessities, but they're just little things that brought me a lot of joy and that made this craft just like that much better for me. So I'll start with yarn. So I kept it to my top 3 because I made a lot and I loved a lot of the things that I worked with. So it was quite difficult to narrow it down. But for the sake of this, I kept it to top 3 for the yarn. So the very first yarn that I'm going to mention is from Ula and Leah. So I worked with their 100% Baby Yak to make a cardigan this year. And oh my goodness, this is the most like luxurious, soft. It was a beautiful experience. I mean, I have not yet worked with cashmere, but the 100% Baby Yak is kind of, you know, promoted as a more affordable option to cashmere while still being really soft and, you know, luxurious. And I mean, I'll confirm that statement if I ever get around to working with 100% cashmere, but I can't disagree with that. This is plush, it's round, it's plump. It almost gives off like this brushed effect. I'm not sure if you can appreciate that in this cardigan. It's a bit open here, so it worked up so beautifully. I love wearing this against my skin. So I love to wear this cardigan with like a short sleeve t-shirt just to feel the luxury of the Baby Yak. I would 100% work with this yarn again. I did order it with their Kickstarter pre-order. So I got this at an incredible, incredible price. Like 600 grams of this yarn for this cardigan were about, I want to say like $120, $130, which is incredible. So highly recommend checking out the Ula and Leah yarns. I've tried a couple of bases from them and they are all incredible, incredible. The next yarn that I really loved is actually a yarn combination. It is a Merino and Suri combination, and it is from Witchfire Fiber. So this is an indie dyed yarn. So their specific combination of their natural fingering weight yarn and their Suri is peak luxury. I love it so much. This is a scarf that I made in this combination. This is a colorway Clow, so a rich, warm autumnal color. Their Suri has a little bit of cashmere. I think it might be like 12 or 13%, but I swear it makes the biggest difference when it comes to working with Suri bases. I wear this so comfortably around my neck. To be fair, I'm not a super sensitive person, but I feel like even around my neck, even as a non-sensitive person, around your neck, you really just want things that are slightly softer. So I have another color set in this exact combination that I'll be working up this winter, and hopefully it will not be the last time that I work with this combination. It was chef's kiss. And then I have one more. I chose my favorite summer yarn that I've been working with. So I'm based out of Las Vegas, so it is very, very hot here in the summer. And I honestly could probably use summer yarns all year long, but I do love a good wool, even if I don't get the most use out of it. But when it comes to summer yarn, I absolutely adored working with the Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino this year. This is a Lusk tee by Rebecca Clow that I made. I made 2 different garments in cotton merino this year, and they are both just so comfortable to wear. They are really, I'd say they're not silky against the skin, but they're very comfortable. I mean, you can feel it, but I personally feel really comfortable in these. They're easy to take care of. I mean, I do hand wash all of my knits, but I feel like they don't pill. They've held up really well. I've given this t-shirt quite a bit of use, and it has held up really well. It has a really affordable price point. The color range is good. It's not as good as their merino or as their mohair, but still, I think there's a good color selection. And this is definitely a yarn that I would love to use again. For my garments, I did use it, you know, as a fingering weight held single. I didn't double it up. And I have nothing bad to say about this yarn. It was really enjoyable, and I will definitely continue to use it for my summer garments. So those, I think, are the top 3 yarns specifically that I absolutely loved. Now let's go into projects. I managed to narrow down my projects to my top 3. So these are projects that, 1, I'm very proud of. 2, the fabric worked up beautifully. They have a good fit, they're comfortable to wear, and I'm actually getting, you know, a good amount of use out of them. So man, it was difficult, but I did it. So I think the first one that I'm going to mention is my Seaway Pullover by Ozetta. So let me pull it back here for you guys. So this is a drop shoulder DK weight pullover. The yarns here are the Ula and Leah Baby Camel held with Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair. So the colors, the color for the camel is Deep Harbor Blue, and for the mohair is Deep Petroleum Blue. The colors matched up beautifully. It is a lovely, luxurious fabric. As I said, I cannot speak highly enough of the Ula and Leah yarns, but this one was my very first textured jumper or sweater. Sorry, this is my very first textured sweater. It has very loose cable, so this is probably one of my introductory projects to cabling, so I feel really proud of it. This was, you know, quite more involved than I had ever done before for a sweater. I made this one at the beginning of the year. The pattern was nice and clear. I did adjust the amount of ease, so I did make a few modifications to the pattern. I'm not a personal fan of a lot of positive ease in my garments, but overall, this has been beautiful. It's nice and light and warm. I might not get the most use out of it because it does need to be quite cold for me to be wearing this sweater, but it is nice to have it in as an option in my wardrobe. So I really, really love this project. The second project that I'm going to mention is by far the project that I am the most proud of. It required so much dedication, patience, time, skill. This is the most complex project that I've made this year, and it is my Candelaria blouse by Teti Lutsak. It is beautiful. It is comfortable. It is, wow. I am so proud of it. Like, look at this color work. This is my first color work garment. This is a fingering weight color work garment in slippery yarns nonetheless. So the base is Woolberry Fiber Co. Berry Linen, which is an alpaca, silk, and linen blend. So it is very slippery and slicky and slightly difficult to work with. And the contrast color is Knitting for Olive Pure Silk. Now, these yarns were not easy to work with. I will say that, especially when it comes to color work. But the finished fabric is beautiful. It is so comfortable. It's perfect. It is absolutely perfect. This is a blouse that I can wear fall, winter, and spring, not in the summertime. It's too warm. I think the alpaca content is just too warm. So the construction of this is really unique. It has like a modular construction. So it's more of like a bit of a squared off neckline. It has the colorwork yoke, 3/4 length sleeves with split hems, and then the bottom has a nice split hem as well. Now, the only modifications that I made to this, I did add 3 sets of waist decreases. Whenever I did a short row on the back, I would add a waist decrease afterwards, and I did lengthen the body a little bit. But that these patterns are just so unique and well written, and yes, they're complicated. They are not an easy breezy stockinette, but they are just so worth it. They're so worth it. I will definitely be making many more of her patterns in the future, but I am just incredibly proud of this project. And that leaves just one more in the top 3. Rounding out the top 3, I included my very favorite summer project that I worked on. Again, also a labor of love, 3mm needles, ribbing on fingering weight yarn, but like all of them, so worth it. And this is my mixed rib cami by Florence Miller in this beautiful bright lime yellow. It is cotton merino from Knitting for Olive. So again, you can see there's that repetition here. I love this so much. It is classy. It is polished. I can wear this to work. I've gotten so much use out of it already. The fabric is so comfortable to wear. Again, I also made a couple modifications to this one. I did add some bust darts, which is something that I learned this year. I love bust darts in my projects. It just makes the fit so much better for me. I did add in some elastics onto the armholes just to make them cinch up a little bit better for me, so that way I wouldn't have to worry about my bra poking through. And length, I made sure that it was nice and long. So you can see here that the front is quite a bit longer than the back, which is perfect for me. And this, again, it took a very long time to make, but I think it's those projects that really, I'm really proud of these projects that take a lot of effort and, you know, just, I guess, the patience to make it to the finish line. There are times that, you know, I got bored of these projects, but I decided to persevere and I have zero regrets. So all 3 of these projects are beautiful. I love wearing them. I love wearing my hand knits. And not to say I don't like my other projects. I love them all, but I'm extra proud of these 3 that I mentioned. Now, as far as designers, I think this is where I have the most to say. I have some opinions and some thoughts. So I could not narrow down my favorites to 3. I managed to narrow it down to 5. I narrowed it down to 5. And my top favorite, absolutely Rebecca Clow. I've mentioned it in so many of my videos. I love Rebecca Clow. I love what she stands for. I love that she speaks about what's important to her in as far as knitwear designs and, you know, in her podcast as well. I love watching her podcast. Another designer was Lily Kate France. From Lily, I really love the attention to fit and the details. I love that she puts in those little tips and techniques in her patterns to make your stitches or your techniques really polished. I love that she provides you with that extra knowledge. And the fit, 10 out of 10 for the fit on Lily's patterns. Florence Miller was another designer that I really enjoyed. She had made the mixed ribbed cami, and that was great. I also really enjoy watching her channel. Well, I think most of these actually, most of the knitters I'm going to mention have some sort of YouTube channel situation going on. Also, Teti Lutsak. Again, you saw my Candelaria blouse. I love the uniqueness, the bohemian style. As far as fit, it kind of challenges me a little bit and takes me out of my comfort zone because a lot of her patterns do tend to be a little bit more boxy, a little less tailored. and tailor just kind of what I feel comfortable with. So sometimes I kind of venture a little bit further out, and her patterns did not disappoint me whatsoever this year. They were wonderful to work with. And then the last one that I had to include is Alicia Plummer. I got to test knit for Alicia Plummer. I only did 2 test knits this year, one for Rebecca Clow and one for Alicia Plummer, both 10 out of 10 experiences. But I love the detail that Alicia puts into the structure for her pieces to make sure that they have a good longevity. So I loved all 5 of those designers. There are many more that I loved. But something that really clicked for me this year was size inclusivity. That's something that really drove home. Even just these past few weeks, like the thoughts finally clicked in my brain. And all 5 of these designers are size inclusive in the sense that they have the appropriate size range. Now, before going a little bit further, there is an account on Instagram that I found mainly in the past couple months, Size Inclusive Collective, and they have been an incredible, incredible resource for me to fully understand what size inclusivity is about, what it means, and why I decided that it was important for me. So for a pattern to be size inclusive, the way that it was explained is that it needs to be able to fit a bust size of 60 inches, including the recommended positive ease. So it's really common in like super oversized patterns that, yeah, the finished bust circumference for the largest size will be 60 inches. But if they're recommending 10, 12 inches of positive ease, you're really only accommodating a bust size of like 50-ish inches. And large bodies also want to have positive ease. I don't think why are we making this assumption that they don't want positive ease in their patterns? And besides having the size range, there are a couple more aspects of it actually fitting large bodies appropriately. Sometimes I feel like it's really common that large sizes don't get the same amount of attention and detail that smaller sizes get, because it is harder to grade larger sizes. So that is another thing that the Size Inclusive Collective kind of taught me about. There are a lot of designers, a lot of popular designers that maybe have larger sizes, but they don't necessarily fit well. The designer being receptive to feedback. Again, with the larger designers, there's kind of conversations about how their stance is very much like, I know what I'm doing, I've been doing this, I know what works. And they're not always receptive to feedback. And lastly, test knits, having an appropriate time length for test knits. Like trying to crank out a sweater in 4 weeks, like a lot of us aren't able to do that, especially for larger sizes, for finer weight yarns, for more detailed patterns. Like you need a good amount of time to test knit. So the Size Inclusive Collective essentially created this directory. There's this repertoire. There's a word that they use for it, to kind of have a collection of what designers are size inclusive. And I know I'm going to get snarky comments even for mentioning size inclusivity. I get them all the time. Whenever I mention it, I see other people in this space get those same comments. And I'm going to kind of jump ahead of that by saying, if it bothers you that I'm talking about size inclusivity and that I'm saying that that's important to me, why does it bother you? Like deep down, sit with that thought. Like, why does it bother you? That's all I'm going to say. And I've gotten to see a lot of the discourse on both sides of like, well, the large sizes don't sell. It's more expensive for pattern designers, etc., etc. To which I'll say that being size inclusive is a choice. Not being size inclusive is also a choice. So, we also have the choice as makers of choosing what patterns we want to make. And I decided that moving forward, I want to focus on size inclusive designers. A comment that I saw that I really, really agree with is that because larger patterns, grading them appropriately requires a lot more attention to fit and things like that. Kind of by osmosis, the smaller sizes also get more attention on fit. So almost coincidentally, the pattern designers that I love just happen to be size inclusive. And I don't think that that's a coincidence, because it's not something that I have to kind of deal with. It's something that I'm privileged to have the choice, because for most patterns, I'm usually making the second smallest size. I'm making for an upper bust of 33 inches. So I personally don't have to struggle to find those sizes and have my size represented in knitting patterns. So it's very much a choice that I want to make. Now, a lot of the plans that the projects that I made this year did not come from size inclusive designers. So I guess all of this to say is that size inclusivity is something that I really want to be mindful of, going forward. And there's so many beautiful designers that are size inclusive that I'm really excited to work with or like make patterns from this upcoming year. Just some of them, I wrote down a couple of the ones that I'm really looking forward to. Amy Scher. I love how she always has like bust accommodations. That's something I appreciate so much. Olga Putano, Augustine's DK, Vertknit. Vertknit is one of those designers that I want to make all of her patterns now. I love her styling and her fit. May Knits is another one, and Rachel Ilse. So again, sometimes at the very beginning when I was kind of cleaning out my favorites of designers that weren't size inclusive, they're like, well, I love a lot of these patterns. I actually have books and purchased patterns that are not size inclusive. So I've kind of been going back and forth as to, do I still want to make them? I might still make one or two of them, but I'm going to take 2026 as the year to kind of phase that out and explore other designers who choose to prioritize size inclusivity. So that's what I have to say about size inclusivity. And again, thank you to the Size Inclusive Collective for helping me understand and learn about this topic. And then my last little category of tools, all those little tools that made my knitting experience just so much better this year. I'm going to start off with knitting needles. So I have tried out now both metal and wooden needles, and I will say my wooden needles are incredible. So here is where I store all of my needles. So my metal ones are Chalgu. They're fine and everything. I love them. But I purchased these Seeknit needles, 4 inches, based off of a recommendation from Florence Miller. And I absolutely love them. So I have a good amount of sizes from them. I think I have like from 2.75 up to 5 millimeter needles. Larger sizes do need some adapters, so I have those. It's hard for that to focus with my face, but they're lightweight. I just love the experience of working with the wooden needle, the way that it grips the yarn. It helps it be less slippery, which I personally enjoy, and it kind of slows down the experience a little bit and helps me relax my tension. So the only thing that I will say is that they don't have like those little locking bits to kind of really tighten it in. I'm assuming because it might start to damage or splinter the wood if you tighten them too tightly. So every now and then I kind of just make sure that my joins are still secure, or I'll kind of tighten them up as needed. But I highly recommend. I love these. They are a bit harder to find. I ordered mine directly from their website, which is the brand is based out of Japan. The only other place that I've seen that readily carries them actually is the Knitting for Olive website. So next time I do a Knitting for Olive purchase, which I don't have anticipated anytime soon, I'll probably pick up some more pieces for my collection. But highly recommend Seeknit needles if they are accessible for you. As far as stitch markers, I love a good little cute stitch marker, but I found myself kind of going back to these same stitch markers over and over again. I really enjoyed them. And they are these tiny little glass stitch markers from Fiber and Flame. So I think I'll have to show them to you one by one. So they are these tiny little kind of teardrop shaped. So this is the large one. And then I got a little set, and these are like the tiny ones that come with it. So I purchased these at Flock Fiber Festival. They are glass, hand blown, and they come in like a little set of 4. They are just simple, they're durable, they're beautiful, they're easy to lose. I've almost lost these multiple times, but I have really enjoyed them. I think the little set of 4 cost me around like $12, $13, $14-ish, somewhere around there. So they're just luxurious and beautiful and practical. I love them very much. So those have been my favorite stitch markers to work with this year. Another little thing that I actually got for free at Flock has been this beautiful holographic rainbow tote from Witchfire Fibers. I think the logo's on this side. Now, I got this for free with my purchase also at Flock Fire Festivals. I talk about Witchfire Fibers all the time. I absolutely love their brand. And this has just made me so happy. I usually take a project to lunch, you know, when I'm working, and I love to take it in this bag and just see like the rainbow shift when I'm walking around. It's just so much fun. I actually have a project in here right now. So this is just a little something that has brought me a lot of joy this year. We're reaching the end. I just have two more little tools to talk about. And the next one is a hand massager. So I had the opportunity of working with Bob and Brad this year, and I got to use one of their hand massagers, and it's just been so nice to have this at the end of the day to kind of relax my hands. My sister loves it too, so she tried it out. I think she purchased one in the end. I purchased one for my workplace's well, we're calling it Golden Elephant, our Golden Elephant gift exchange. I think my affiliate link might still be active in the discount codes. I'll double check, and if so, I'll leave it down in the description box. So this has just been a really wonderful tool to have at the end of the day. And again, just make my experience that much nicer. And then the very last product that I have is this lovely little hand balm. It's actually called the WIP Work in Progress Whipped Hand Cream. So this is made by Hailey Bailey. Yeah, this is a little hand cream that I picked up at Flock just because the scent was, oh my God, incredible. This is the Moonflower Vine scent, and it has notes of pear, agave, violet, cherry blossom, marine, sandalwood, leather, cardamom, and cedar. I love an earthy, woody fragrance with hints of floral. It's perfection for me. And I haven't dug in that deeply yet, but this is just so rich and nourishing, especially in the winter months. So what I love to do, I'll put on a layer of like my eczema hand balm that I wear, just like the Eucerin or the Aveeno one. And then on top, I'll add a little dollop of this, and the scent, oh my God, it's just so good. It's, again, a little luxury that has made my knitting experience so lovely. So those are all the favorites that I have to talk about. So overall, 2025 was such a successful year when it comes to knitting. I'm so excited to embark in 2026 and to share my journey with you all. Again, for the third time, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for choosing to spend a little bit of your time with me. It's Thanksgiving in my time, so I hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend. I hope you guys have a wonderful winter holiday season and into past the holidays. January and February are some of my favorite months of the year, so I hope that you guys are having a wonderful winter and end of the year, and I will chat with you guys really soon. Bye.